Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj and TVS are India's top two-wheeler companies. But it was not possible to do this without the technology and joint venture of two-wheeler companies like Honda, Suzuki and Kawasaki in Japan. Because we neither had the technology nor the basic facilities of research and development, we were forced to work with them on all the conditions of those foreign companies. But as soon as the Indian companies felt that they did not need support, they separated from the joint venture on the basis of some issue. This is an interesting story between Hero Group and Honda Motors. But have you ever thought that despite being such a successful partnership, why did Hero Group and Honda Motors separate? How did a company that makes cycles have the courage to end its relations with the world's #1 bike producer? And what did Hero Group see after separating? What were the solutions to deal with them? Who benefited and who lost? In today's video, we are going to know all these things in depth. The story begins in 1956 when Brijamohanlal Munjal started Hero Cycles from a cycle spare parts business. And as soon as he saw this company, it became not only India but also the world's largest cycle making company. Then he felt that the world is growing very fast in the two-wheeler industry. But India is still stuck on scooters and mopeds. And to fill this gap, he wanted to launch a motorcycle in the Indian market. But at that time, the problem with Hero was that they did not have the technology to make an engine. So to bring his plan into action, in 1984, he sent a proposal to Honda Motors and agreed to make a bike together. Actually, Honda also benefited from this deal. Because through Hero, they were getting a chance to enter a big market like India. In the 80s, no foreign company was allowed to do business alone in India. Then there was a talk of working in a joint venture between Hero and Honda. And there was also a NOC between them that in the future, both the companies will never launch any product against each other. After establishing his first production plant in Haryana, in 1985, when Hero Honda launched his first bike with the slogan "Feel it, shut it, forget it," then the image of Hero Honda became of a fuel-efficient and reliable bike, in which the responsibility of making the body of the bike was of Hero and the engine supply was to be done by Honda. After this, some popular bikes like Splendor and Passion strengthened the position of Hero Honda. By the year 2001, Hero Honda monopolized more than 50% of the market share in the Indian two-wheeler industry. And it became the world's largest two-wheeler company. But you must be thinking that when everything was going well in business, then why did Mr. Munjal leave Honda in 2010? Actually, things were looking good from above. But deep inside, there were some problems with management for a long time. There were two issues in which later became the main reasons for their separation. The first reason was that after the year 2000, many new players like Bajaj Auto, TVS, Yamaha and Suzuki came to the Indian market, due to which there was pressure on the market share of Hero Honda. Then Honda Motors started a separate company named Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India in 1999 to compete directly with these new players. And they also launched a scooter named Activa, which went against their agreement with Hero. And the second reason was that despite being the world's largest company in cycle production, Hero did not have permission to export his bikes to the international market except for some neighbors like Nepal, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. While Honda was making good profits by selling its bikes in developed countries like America and Russia, Mr. Munjal understood that for the position he wants in the international market, he will have to develop his own engine. And that's why Hero started spending most of his profit on developing the engine, due to which the gap between the two increased even more. And the result was that the paths of Hero and Honda were separated. The Honda Motors with which Hero Group had won the title of the world's largest bike company, today the same Honda Group was standing as their biggest competitor. Friends, now let's go to the climax of our story and try to find out how Hero stood apart from Honda. How did he make his own brand image? And most importantly, what effect did it have on their financial conditions? In Hero Honda's joint venture, the Munjal family and Honda had a share of 26 to 26%, in which Hero Group bought 26% of Honda's stake and changed the company's name from Hero Honda to Hero MotoCorp. And during the demerger, an agreement was made that by 2014, Honda would continue to support Hero with its engine and technology. In return, Hero would have to give him a royalty bonus and the motorcycle would be sold under the name of Hero Honda. In front of Mr. Munjal was a mountain of challenges. He had only 3 to 4 years to establish his own R&D center, manufacturing plant and supply chain. But overcoming all his challenges, Hero MotoCorp, started its first production unit in Nimrana, Rajasthan in 2014. Along with that, a world-class R&D center was also set up in Jaipur, which was completed in 2016 with a cost of 850 crores. In addition to this, a heavy investment was made to improve the supply chain and service network. And finally, motorcycles like Splendor, Passion and Glamour were launched with their own engines. But was all this enough for Hero's success? Maybe not, because people knew Hero as a company that made cycles. Motorcycles were sold under the name of Honda. Now Hero needed to strengthen his brand image. He was challenged to make his identity as a standalone company apart from Honda. So a new logo and a new tagline, "We have Hero," started the company's rebranding. In which, targeting youth, Hero MotoCorp was presented as a customer-centric brand. The new logo and brand identity of Hero MotoCorp was developed by a famous British firm, Wolf Alliance. The Hero Group also played a role here and succeeded in winning people's trust. Now after knowing all this, you would also like to know about the financial performance and sales figure of Hero MotoCorp. Whether it was beneficial or harmful to be separated from Honda. Friends, Honda Motors is a multinational company, which is present with its two-wheelers and four-wheelers all over the world except India. While Hero MotoCorp started its global expansion after being separated from Honda. And today it has reached up to 40 countries. After being separated from Honda, the net worth of Hero MotoCorp was around $7 billion. Which is still around $7.5 billion despite the long stagnation of the auto sector and COVID. Which shows the consistent performance of the company. And the net worth of Honda Motors has decreased from $55 billion in 2011 to $45 billion. And friends, when Hero Honda was working together, more than 50% of the Indian two-wheeler market was under their control. While according to sales data of 2022, selling 3.5 million two-wheelers, it is India's largest two-wheeler company, which has about 35% market share. While Honda Motors comes second with 25% market share, which sold about 4 million units in 2022. And where the total number of employees of Hero Honda used to be about 6,000. Today, Hero MotoCorp employs 8,600 people alone. Hero MotoCorp has 6 in India and 1 production unit in Bangladesh and Colombia. World-class R&D centers are present in Jaipur and Germany. And if we talk about the product line of Hero, with popular bikes like Splendor, Passion and Glamour. For off-road adventures, X-Pulse 200 series, Pleasure, Maestro and Destiny scooters are also present in the portfolio. And friends, in 2019, Hero sold 7.8 million bikes and set the record of selling the most bikes in the world. With this, it is the only company in the world to make 100 million two-wheelers. But you will be surprised to know that more than 70% of their total sales is of Splendor. There is one more interesting fact. Although Hero MotoCorp is at the top in motorcycle sales, but in scooter sales, it comes third with only 10% market share. And Honda Motors Activa is the market leader of this segment. Looking at the demand for time, Hero has also launched a mobile app. And it is also investing well in digital marketing. So friends, I hope you got some new information from this video. Thanks for watching.